I think one of the biggest gifts that Benjamin Britten gave us was the way he introduced so many people to classical music. I know that my first introduction to orchestral music was through the Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. I must be one of hundreds of thousands of people in the UK who sat down in a class from aged 8 or 9, was shown that film, listened to the music and suddenly got what an orchestra did and understood what different instruments sounded like. And it was such a wonderfully straightforward but memorable piece of music, and that opened up a whole new world for me. I then moved on to the sea interludes, which I think perhaps as a teenager I then suddenly realised how music could paint pictures. And his talent for this sort of wonderful imagery is something that I am immensely grateful to have learned about, because again it introduced me to a whole new world. So perhaps as an adult my favourite Britten work has been his piano concerto. As a bad pianist myself, I can only dream of one day being able to play such a work of great virtuosic sort of technical difficulty. But again, it takes you into this world, this rather eerie, beautiful but slightly dark world. He wasn't known for his piano music, but I love that work. I think there are bits of it which sound quite sort of impressionistic, kind of like scary Debussy, and other bits which are just haunting and moving. And I just sort of feel that as I say, as an amateur pianist, it's his work that transports me the most. Much is said with retrospect about him being this towering figure, the man who brought British opera out of the doldrums, if you like, and with Peter Grimes, produced this work that put British opera back on the map. But in fact, it wasn't just his opera. As a composer, he was the British composer who punched through internationally. He was befriended by and influenced wonderful composers like Shostakovich, for example. I mean, he's revered in Russia, all around the world, as we'll see during the celebrations of the centenary. People have remembered him on every continent, feel close to him. His music touched so many different musical organisations and composers and artists around the world. As I say, he's not just our own Britten. He's a world-class composer who had an impact on music around the world through the 20th century.